You're scrolling, you could be here with me, getting yourself in order, because things don't change unless we change them. You can either be a part of the solution or get lost in it, but either way it goes, you have to move or you will get left behind. We're not talking about politics. We're on here talking about strategy and things that are going to keep us afloat while life is lifing, because we can't always control what happens, but we can change and we can control what we do with it. We need to have our affairs in order or we will be left behind, because the rich stay getting rich and the poor are getting poorer. Middle class is going to cease to exist, and there's nothing we can do about that. All we can do is do our part, okay? So, I'm Von Monique. I'm here to give you strategy and tips. Today, we're talking about the entrepreneur death cycle and why you keep failing at business. So, if you are a business owner and you are struggling within your business, you are trying every strategy possible. You've taken every workshop, every coaching course, you've had mentors, you've done everything in your power that you can do. It's time that we be honest with ourselves. You're not stuck because you're lazy. You're not stuck because you don't have a skill or a great talent. You are stuck because you don't have tools that you need on the back end of it, okay? Because you're emotionally hustling and not strategically building. That is why you're stuck. That is exactly why you're stuck. The next few years are going to be crucial and critical. Crucial and critical. A lot of us have gotten businesses and we're doing our best. However, we're just not seeming to cut it. And it's not because you don't have the talent. It's not because you don't have the books. It's not because you're not making the money. It is strictly because you are building from an emotionally drained hustle. Why are my words escaping me today? My words have been crazy all day. My Lord. You're stuck because you have been emotionally hustling, not strategically building. You are someone that is just trying to make it, but your mental is not supporting what your body is trying to do. So oftentimes you feel like you're on this constant hamster wheel. You're fearful, you're overthinking, you're not showing up fully. 1 minute you're in, 1 minute you're out. You don't fully believe that it's going to work. You have to know it's going to work. If you don't heal what's blocking your hustle, you're going to live the same 6 months for the next 20 years, calling it ambition, calling it hustling, calling it, get into the bag. You're chasing the bunny. You're going to burn out. If you have not already, you are going to burn out. You're just living in survival mode. You're living day after day, hand over fist. You're literally just trying to make it. So it's time to address the death cycles of entrepreneurship. You cannot you cannot build a business like that. There are 6 stages that are quietly destroying your business and your confidence. You don't feel secure showing up. You don't know what to do. You have outsourced as much as possible. You're doing your research. You're doing everything that the TikTok girlies and the guys are telling you. You're posting, you're doing your different angles, but you are exhausted. My goal is always to educate you, help you get to the next level and out of your own way. Okay? A lot of us are stuck in our own way and we get information like this big, beautiful bill and what that entails. First and foremost, does everyone on here know exactly what the big, beautiful bill is? Is everybody up to date on this information? This live today isn't specifically targeting the big, beautiful bill, but I do believe it's important for everyone to know because it affects each and every one of us. It's a domino effect. Okay. So, essentially, the Big Beautiful Bill was passed on the 4th of July. And what it states is if you do not make 75K or more, you are going to be a burden to this bill. Okay. You're not going to be a liability. So if you are someone that works 2 jobs and you don't have a business, or if you are someone you know is on food stamps, Section 8, um, Medicaid, Pell Grants, those things are going to be affected. They are cutting the budget significantly. If you're depending on Head Start, daycare, financial aid, if you're needing mental health, addiction support, maybe ER care, anyone depending on Obamacare, or anyone trying to break into green jobs, these things are going to affect you. Construction, manufacturer workers, thousands of people are going to lose their jobs. They're predicting we have 6 months to prepare for this. It is strictly a prediction because we don't know when this is really going to go into effect. It has already been signed, so it can go into effect immediately. So if you are not someone that makes 75 K or more, you have to shift your mindset. It's about shifting your mindset. Poverty lives in your mind. I grew up in poverty. I grew up in the projects. We had all of those, we had each and every one of those benefits that they're cutting. And I thought because that's what I was raised around, that's naturally what my life was. I thought that's what I had to have because we don't go based off of what we're told. We go based off of what we see. So because I seen my mom being disabled, live this lifestyle, this is how I was raised, that was what I tried to make normal. And that's not necessarily what is normal as much as it is just what it was. So the day I changed my mindset and I started to outwardly seek different lifestyles, different options, that's when I began to overcome the upbringing that I had. That's when I was able to step out of what I thought was normal and create my own new normal. Okay. So a lot of us have been living paycheck to paycheck or maybe client to client. And we're programmed to believe this is just how it goes. Just another day, just another dollar. This is normal behavior. This is not normal. None of us were created to be on this earth just to get by. Okay. So we're going to talk about the entrepreneur death cycle. Everyone's been waiting. I'm going to give you what you came for. Do we have our pens and pads out? Mm, 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 mm. Uninformed optimism. This is my big break. This is how the entrepreneur cycle starts. You get this a great idea. You're probably super excited, you're super invested, and you're just ready to go out and make money. Okay. You're like, this is it. I finally am gonna make it. My family's gonna be good. We're gonna be able to get out the hood, blah, 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 whatever you're thinking. You saw somebody on TikTok bragging about 10K months and said, I can do that too. And so you went for it. But what you didn't stop to consider was they're 8 years in and you're 8 minutes in. You jumped the cart, you jumped the horse. You jumped out there and you was ready to take it on. So then now you thought you were signing up for freedom, but trauma, tech, sorry, you thought you were signing up for freedom, not trauma, not disappointment, not frustration, not tech, and trying to sell to people who ain't even listening. You are out here trying to sell your product or your item, your service to someone that's not your client. You weren't excited about building, you were excited about escaping, and escaping doesn't equal elevation. You were trying to outrun something. You haven't taken the time to actually address why, who, what. You have literally went from one extreme to the next. The thing that we don't often pay a lot of attention to is we take us with us everywhere we go. So the way we operated in our childhood, our teenage years, our young adult years, maybe even those bad relationships and friendships, we're going to take that into our business now. So the question I have for each and every one of you is, are you chasing success or are you running from your real healing? This is the mirror. We carry a mirror around and we act like we don't see it. We act like it's not there. We look at everybody else and everything else. The question is, are you chasing success or are you running from real healing? A lot of us have a very, very hard time being real and honest with ourselves. You can run, but you cannot outrun you. A lot of us are trying to outrun our shadow. Have you ever tried to outrun your shadow? It's not possible. Right? It's not possible. You have to deal with you. You have to deal with you. It doesn't go away just because. That's like when people keep moving jobs, they jump around in their jobs. They're running from themselves, they're running from the truth. They're jumping around in relationships. They can't stay single because then that gives them too much time to deal with themselves. They can't be alone. They can't sit still. because they're hiding. They are in hiding. Then you go into step two, the informed pessimism. Wait, wait, this is harder than I thought. Who the hell ever told us entrepreneurship was easy? In fact, I personally will be the first one to admit I never thought it was easy, but I figured it couldn't be no harder than what I had gotten myself into. Boy, was I still wrong. I was still wrong. The days that come and nobody's buying, no one's booking, no one's commenting, no one's liking, all of those days, they wear and tear on you. They wear and tear on you. Baby, I was sliding down the wall. I was crying. I was starting to think I wasn't good enough. I wanted to give up. I was ready to give up, and it would not have served me because there are so many people connected to my voice that need to hear my voice. But I got tired. I started second guessing myself. I'm Googling new niches, and every other day, I'm trying to tweak it. I'm trying to make it work. That's not going to help. I went from this is it to maybe I'm not built for this. In 60 days, I gave myself 60 days. And I'm gonna be honest, it might have been less than that because it does not take long for you to start to see that you might have just jumped in a little too big in the expectation pool. It be the expectations that we dive into that literally can make or break us. That literally can make or break us. You're not broken. My issue was I started out and I was doing hair. I've stuck it out. I've done hair consistently for over a decade. But then I got into another business and I was like, you know what? A part of my grieving process, I process better when I'm doing stuff with my hands. So then I started making cups and other things. I was just a creative. Then the people were like, well, what are you going to do with this stuff? You should sell it. So I'm like, oh, you guys think it's that good? People sometimes will hype you up to fail, okay? Because they give you they give you just enough of a breadcrumb to hype you up to make you really feel like you got this. And then you get out there and you like up shit creek with no paddle. So I'm out here and I'm promoting my mugs and my tumblers, and people aren't buying. People are not freaking buying. And so then I'm like, okay, but here's where I got messed up. I only pushed these coffee mugs and tumblers for a 2-second bid. And as soon as I didn't get the feedback I wanted, as soon as nobody was purchasing them, I took the whole thing down. I was like, I knew I should have let y'all hype me up. I'll just get these away for gifts or something. But it still took me money to make those things. It still took me money to make those things. So what I learned in that is I'm impatient and my expectations are too freaking high. People gotta find me first, and they're not gonna find me when I wanna be found. They're gonna find me when they're meant to find me. But I have to be findable. I have to do my part and I have to put the information out there. So you're not broken. You're just unstructured and emotionally fatigued. Continuing to do what's not working will burn you out. Continuing to ignore the obvious is going to lead to burnout. We can't blame anybody but ourselves. Yes. So a lot of us are constantly showing up. We're not even fully present because we're in survival mode. We are not even really there. I talked about the spoon theory earlier. Does everyone know what the spoon theory is? Have you ever heard of the spoon theory? The spoon theory changed my life. It made me understand so much, so much. Okay. So the spoon theory is this. Every day we start our day with a certain amount of spoons. And every task we do, it removes a spoon from our cup. So for some people, it just takes a spoon just to get out of bed in the morning. Or maybe it takes one of your spoons to brush your teeth. Or you could possibly have a child that you have to chase around every day because they don't want to go to school. That can decrease a spoon. So if we're constantly showing up and we don't even have all of our spoons, we are running from an empty tank. But none of us take the time to actually recharge and rebuild what was taken from us. And a lot of that comes with our boundaries. A lot of that comes with our self-care, our self-love, our self-worth. So if we don't have that, we're constantly operating from a space that is taking more than we're getting in, if that makes sense. So the question I have for each and every one of you, please, and this is a question: are you undercharging, overgiving, and burning out because you never learned how to separate your worth from your work? If you have never actually felt like you were enough, undercharging and overgiving will burn you the hell out. And it's not just because you're not making enough, it's because you are performing. You are in high performance mode because you feel like just you, what you bring to the table is not enough. You don't see the worth and the value. You have to know that you are enough, especially in business. You have to be confident. You have to be clear. You are showing up every day to burn yourself out. There was a point in my hair career where I was so burnt out that I would cry when I seen certain names on the caller ID because I just knew I didn't have the capacity that they needed from me. I was tired. I thought that I needed to do more clients, but I actually just needed to charge accordingly. If you are doing someone's hair and you're standing behind them for 6 hours and you're charging $75, you are going to burn out. You're going to burn out. There's no way around it. There is no way around it. So you have to ask yourself, what happened in my life that made me feel like I wasn't valuable? Why do you feel like your product or your service isn't worth the money that you deserve? Because I'm sure the person that charged you to teach you didn't have that conversation. They were like, "Look, what I have to offer is this valuable. This is what's happening." So you have to go back and reassess yourself. And it might be an event of why, how, who, how did you get there? How did you become this person that doesn't see your worth, your value? And this is the worst part about business is accepting and understanding that the people around us are usually not our target. And it's usually not because we think we're better than them, but because we understand that those people around us, they're limited. And so if the goal is to make more, we have to think outside of the box that we were raised in. And that's where the conflict happens. That's where things happen in a certain type of way. It's not saying you should exclude them, but it's saying not to build your business focused on them. So, number three, the valley of despair. Why did I even start this? This is when you start to feel defeated. This is when you want to give up in your business. This is when you start to rethink the whole thing. And you got people in your ear, you got that voice in the back of your mind, you have all this stuff. And you're actually starting to believe it. The one thing you were so excited about at one point in your life, now you're starting to believe it. This is where most people quit. This is where the cycle ends, and we're not that far in. So this is typically the drama where people want to give up. This is where they throw in the towel. This is where all of their expectations, they become reality. And the thing I will tell you is building a business does not exist with reality. You got to be delusional. You have to be so delusional. My coach always tells us you got to be delusional like J Lo. That woman knows she can't sing, but she sell out shows every time. You have to be on the level of delusional behavior that that woman knows she can't sing. She could never sing, but do that ever stop her? She be everywhere in that bustier. You gotta be delusional. And it's not hard. It's literally turning off your logical brain. And I recently tapped into that myself. Right before it starts clicking, you have already decided you want to give up already. You're so far in, but you're ready to give up. I don't want you to give up. So you don't need a new niche. You don't need a new niche, a mentor, or another freebie. You don't need none of that. You've done all of that. You've tried and errored. You've seen what the people want. You've done surveys. You've done all the things. You need to stop ghosting your goals. Then when they don't immediately love you back. It's like that relationship you fought so hard for. You wanted that thing to work tooth and nail. It's like that relationship you fought for. It didn't love you back in the beginning. And if it was a healthy one, eventually it loved you. But some of us will fight for a relationship that we never belonged in the first place, but we won't fight for this business. Somebody on the other side of this screen is fighting to keep a friendship that never should have started. Y'all built on trauma. Y'all built on dislike. Y'all built this thing probably because y'all had the same boo, but you won't fight for this business. I've seen people fight harder for a pair of Jordans in a raffle than they have their business. It's insane. But you know what this tells me? This tells me that you have always self sabotaged yourself. And the moment things get hard, you will run. That's what this tells me. The very moment things go a certain type of left, you are going to get out of there. You out of there by any means necessary. The question is, how many times before this have you done it and still didn't notice that that's who you are and what you do? That is the question. How many times have you ghosted something or someone that actually was worth a hell, but you keep around all the drama, the toxicity? Too many. Why? Because you take you with you everywhere you go. Everywhere you go. That friendship that was actually worth something. They wasn't out trying to make you spend money you didn't have. They weren't digging in your pocketbook, but you got rid of it. You ghosted it. You sabotaged it because it was too unfamiliar. You're so used to chaos that when something is normal, it's safe, it feels different, you're going to disregard it because it doesn't feel like what you need it to feel like. You feel invisible, you feel discouraged and doubtful. But truthfully, you're grieving the fantasy of fast success and being forced to be real resilient. You need to build your resilience. We're resilient in the things that we shouldn't be. You take you with you everywhere. So the way you show up in your personal life is going to show up in your business life. So if you quit your business, that tells me you're a quitter. You will quit any and everything that you possibly can. So my question is, now that you have become self-aware, the other truth to this is a lot of people will find this out today and they still aren't going to change it. We have gotten so accustomed to pain and to chaos and to hurt that we constantly show up to be hurt. A lot of us are addicted to that type of pain. Okay. So the question I have is, are you pivoting or are you panicking? Because what you decide to do is what happens next. And it's not going to be an overnight situation. It's not going to just happen. It's not going to just fall out the sky. This is literally going the very thing that gets you to the next level. This is the thing that's going to get you to the next level. So, number 4, if y'all are ready for number 4 of the entrepreneur death cycle, the death loop decision. 2 paths. You give up or you start over. I can reach one person, I'm reaching many because I'm so confident in the fact that I could talk to you today and something I say is going to leave an impression and you're going to go tell someone else. And before I know it, I got a room full of people that's really ready to change their life. Okay. So if we're going to give up and start over, it's like, hello, new business idea. This is going to be different. This is how crazy this goes. This is how crazy we are. This time I ain't going to do all of that. I'm really going to lock in this time. I'm going to do all the stuff. I'm going to promote. I'm not going to let them make me small no more. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to charge the right prices because I don't need to work 3 jobs to run this business. This how hype we get. If don't nobody want to if don't nobody want to spend no money with me, they ain't got to spend no money with me. I'm cool this time around. I learned my lesson. I did my part, right? We be hype. We be talking cash shit. But then here's what happens. We don't work. We didn't change nothing. We was blowing smoke up our own ass. So here come the same fears. Here came the same mental blocks. The difference is now it looks different. Last time it showed up in lack of boundaries. This time it shows up from people saying things to us and us not standing our ground. This time it looks like people booking appointments and not coming. This time it looks like people asking for refunds and discounts.
It's a same problem, different packaging. So welcome back to stage one. It showed back up. You didn't address it. You didn't name it. You hyped yourself up. You masked up. You thought that you could outrun you. Meanwhile, everything else the same. You still got that family that don't fool with you. You still got that baby daddy that mistreats you and spends your money. He probably late picking you up. You still got them friends that don't really support you. They talk about you. And some of them disrespectfully do it to your face. So if all of those moving parts, that stealing mama, you still have not dealt with the real root and cause, but you thought that you had done something. You thought this was going to be different this time. Why? You fooled yourself. You fooled yourself. But here's the thing. People will show us who they are and we feel like we're exempt. She showed you that she was capable. You just thought because you were her daughter, she wouldn't do that to you. We got to start accepting humans. They gonna shenan every time. And I'm not saying that to get down on you. I'm saying that because we have all done it. When we play the tape back, we always see that they were that person all along. Push through and heal. And that is what you have done. You have pushed through, and I hope that you have healed and not become avoidant. People like to use isolation and avoidance and feel like they're doing something. The problem is when you actually go back outside and that same alarm goes off in your head when someone does something to you, you will learn you haven't done the work. Now you just sitting in traumas and you just acting up. And you like, what happened? I thought I healed this. I thought I worked on this. No, you avoided it. You isolated it. You never actually processed what you went through and what you're going through. You just allowed yourself to believe that lie that time heals all. Time heals all as you address it. You have to address it. So you have to sit down, you have to get honest, and do the emotional work. You don't need a glow up. You need a guts up. It is time to deal with the thing. Business doesn't reward the most talented. It rewards the most whole. You cannot operate a business without addressing your own issues. They're going to bleed into your business. One of my biggest issues in my business was low self-esteem. It's hard to have good, high self-esteem when you grew up as that kid that had to wear Payless or Walmart, Kmart. You didn't have the name brands because your family couldn't afford it. Or if you were that child like I was where my mom couldn't spend a lot of money. She was on disability because she had a back injury. She couldn't work. I've never seen my mom work, but when Christmas and birthdays came around, that woman wanted me to feel special, so she would wrap my socks or my underclothes or maybe a book or two that I needed. She wanted me to open something. And so me not having that self-esteem, I'm seeing all the kids around me and they got name brand backpacks and Jan Sport. And here I got, she was a phenomenal mom. I will never take that from her. I have gained so much more grace and love and appreciation for my mom because she did everything she could with the limited sources that she had. She didn't have what we have now, but she did the best with what she could. And so being that my mom raised me to be the woman that I am today, I can now look out and say, this is something that I can see that I couldn't have got from her because she didn't have it. She didn't have high self-esteem. She didn't have high confidence. She was a bigger woman. And because she was a bigger woman, she tolerated a lot of things. I picked it up. I picked it up. Okay. So that bled right into my business. My people pleasing, me not having boundaries because I was never taught them, all these different things. This is what led me here. This is how I got here. And the moment I met my coach, I will never forget, my coach had a video. She had a viral video. And she said, I could tell how low your self esteem is by your exes.
That woman went as far as saying, "You want to talk about it?" No, I don't. But I think I need to. She is the woman that called it out for me because I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get my business to the next level. I could not get past that neutral feeling. Like it was like I was stuck in gear. I was revving up, but I could not get up the hill. I had low self esteem. I just couldn't do it. We have to address our low self esteem. And we're very unaware of what that actually looks like because for a lot of us, we think it is the clothes that we wear, the makeup we do or don't wear, how we style our hair. It's deeper than that. It is way deeper than that. It's our overthinking tendencies. That is self sabotaging that comes with our low self esteem. It is so much deeper. It is so much deeper. So my question is, are you secretly addicted to starting over because being new feels safer than being seen? It's like the very minute that you built that business to the level of success where you're actually getting exposure, you're actually making the money you need to be making, everything is going well. Do you abort mission because you are secretly afraid and it feels safer because it's new? Yes. We are addicted to the struggle. We're addicted to chaos. A lot of us will invest a lot of money into a lot of programs, a lot of lessons, and the truth is we will never do anything with it. We will never do a single thing with it. I call it hoarding. We are a lot of us are addicted, but look at what's around us. All we have is struggle, all we have is chaos, all we have is destruction. We got the baddies and we got the love and hip hop. I would love to say I'm shocked that love and hip hop is still a thing, but I can't be. I absolutely cannot be shocked that love and hip hop is still a thing because we still absolutely feed off of that. The people with the money, with the successful businesses, do not watch that stuff. It is an attack for the poverty people. It keeps us stuck. It keeps us absolutely stuck. Number five, informed optimism. This is working slowly but surely. Now you see the truth. It was never about the algorithm or the offer. It was about how unavailable you have been for consistency, confidence, and clarity. People will find an excuse for anything. Oh, I didn't have time today. What did you do with your time today? Oh, it's that algorithm. The video just wasn't good enough. I only got 200 views. That's an excuse. You should show up anyway. Oh, I'm not sure. Why would it work for me? You know, the good people don't ever get anything. We always get mistreated. We always get forgotten. These are lies that we tell ourselves to try to justify our nonsense shenanigans. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. You're finally investing in skills. You're focused, you're consistent, you're locked in, and you're finally starting to believe you might actually be that girl. We want so bad for external validation to be the thing that carries us over the threshold. We have to be it. The call is coming from inside the house. Are you willing to stay with your dream long enough for it to trust you back? We have all been in a situation where we weren't trusted. We've all been in a situation where we didn't trust somebody. But you have to make a decision. Am I willing to stay with this dream long enough for it to trust me back? And what does that look like? What does that look like? Because most of you on here expected to trust you immediately. But how? How when you can't constantly do what needs to be done? You're not showing up every day. You're not talking about it. Half the time, people don't even know what you do. People don't know what you do. And I am guilty of this myself. I've had so many situations where people will see me pop up on social media and they will be like, do you still do hair? All I've done was hair for the last 10 plus years. But I don't go over there posting. I don't go over there talking about it. I'm not findable over there. That is on me. It's not on them. That is not on them. You have to believe in your dream long enough for it to trust you back. So the next point is number 6, success and stability. You're booked, you're profitable, you're grounded, but you're not scared of losing it because you didn't just build a business, you built a backbone. You know, 10 toes down. If you get yourself into it, you can get yourself out of it. You know that what you have is liquid gold. You know that you are that girl. No matter what anybody says, if they click, if they like, if they follow, it doesn't fucking matter because you know you are that girl. Okay? So, what that means is no more undercharging, no more lack of boundaries, no more random resets. It is more about you and you being about that life. You're done trying to prove you're worthy enough through your performance. We know your skills is good. We know you got the best talent. We know you are the go-to person in your field. Now you know it. Now you know it. So when success finally shows up, will it feel like safety or pressure? And this is for your own. This is the thing I struggle with people. People will always tell you what you want to hear, but they won't always tell you what the truth is. I'd rather you say nothing than to continue to lie to yourself because at the end of the day, the proof will always be in the pudding. I've come across so many people that just want to say the thing because they want people to know that they know the answer. But here's where shit gets wicked. If you know the answer and you're consciously choosing to do the opposite, what does that say about you? You know the answer. You know if I tell you to go right or go left, you're knowing if it's a right or left situation. You know. You know. So instead of you saying, you know what? I know you told me to go left, but I want to go see what's going right. That's fine. That is fine. All that means is you added a detour to the natural route. That means you trust yourself to know that even if you make a wrong turn, you know that you can either do a U-turn and come back, or you could see this thing through. You're still going to end up on the right path. Was it delayed? Possibly. But people will say all of the right things, and you could clearly tell by paying enough attention to them. They have no clue. They are so hypocritical. It is a lie. Okay. So you don't need a new business, you need a breakthrough. If this hits you super close to home, you felt like I was sitting on your couch reading you for filth, good. That means it's time for you to make a change. That means it is time for you to make a change. This boot camp is targeting those of you that overthink. You can't grow because you are a perfectionist and you think everything needs to be perfect. There's literally no such thing as perfect. It is all in your mind, and all it's doing is keeping you broke, burnt out, and devastated. If you've never encountered a situation where your child wanted something and you couldn't provide it and it was as low as $10, blessed you are. If you have never been in a situation where your car broke down in the middle of the road and you had no idea you were going to fix it, you are God's favorite. But for those of us that have experienced those points in our lives where we are tired, we're frustrated, we don't want to live client to client, product to product, we want to get out of our own way, this boot camp is for you. Also, there is going to be a replay on the boot camp. The self-sabotaging will keep you in the same loop over and over again. You will think to yourself that it's just not for you. You will think it is not, you will really convince yourself you're doing something wrong because you don't have control of the voices in your head. I had the same thing this morning. I was like, ooh, I'm tired. I'll do it later. That is self-sabotage. If you sit on someone's live all day long, all day long. My goal is to not keep you all day. I'm going to keep you minimum amount of time. Your time is just as valuable as my time. I have been on the other side of this doggone device all day, been commenting, tapping, sharing. And then what does that mean for my business? What did I gain that day? How much closer to my goal am I? Okay. These are forms of self sabotaging, overworking and undercharging, refusing to identify the real call is coming from inside the house. You can ignore it, but that doesn't mean it's not there. That's like when people are like, oh, I don't believe in that. You don't have to believe in it. It doesn't change that it is still, in fact, very much so real. The delusion has to stop. You're not inconsistent. You're not wounded. You're not confused. You're not cluttered. You're not lazy. These are all the things that people have told you and that you have told yourself, and you start to begin to believe. You're burnt out from doing business in survival mode. You don't believe in yourself. You don't believe it's going to work. You don't believe that you have the tools and the skills you need to get to the next level. You got to believe it, babes. Okay. We're breaking the cycle, regulating your nervous system, fixing your foundation, and finally teaching you how to hustle with wholeness. It is time to unblock your hustle. That 2000s hustle culture we had was so toxic and it was wrong. Had us thinking we were supposed to make money all day to go pop bottles. We were supposed to make money to go keep up with the Joneses, and the Joneses ain't real. It was a mess. It was so toxic, and we was right there living it up. We thought that that's what life was supposed to be. I'm such a beat person. So if I hear a good beat, I want to bump it. But listen to them lyrics, I was like, these lyrics are designed to keep you stuck. We are not built to be hustlers. We're meant to be thrivers. I guess every day I'm thriving is not very catchy. Just saying. And my block was I was a product of my environment. Most of us grew up in low poverty or low income situations. We seen the struggle. So for us seeing the struggle and then seeing this hustle culture, we're like, oh shoot, they look like they got big money. They got rims, they got chains, they got gold teeth. I've never been a fan of the gold teeth movement. But these are the things we're seeing that always indicated there's money. They got money. But what did they really have on the back end? What investments did they have? What long term wealth did they build? They couldn't build outside of their normal programming. What's really keeping you stuck? How emotional wounds show up in your business, your everyday life, your parenting. These things don't just affect you in one area. How to finally structure and scale without burnout. These are things that we didn't see growing up, because the very thing you're offering right now, someone needs, but you are in the way of your own success, your own growth, and your own blessings. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you guys. I'm tired of just existing. I am ready to live. I am ready to take a chance on myself. I am ready to see what the world has to offer, see what's out there, and just go with it. Just go with it, because if we continue to live in a spirit of fear, we we will never know. We will never know. I remember my coach told me one time, she was like, the cemetery is full of millionaires and potential, because people will pass away never actually doing what they were put here to do, because they never got out of their own way. They stayed small. They didn't want to make a lot of noise. They were too afraid of being someone's villain. Even when we try not to be someone's villain, we're the villain. Even when we try not to be, we absolutely are. That's just the name of the game. Well, I'm gonna head out. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.